Okay. It's recording. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at something. A 3D unit cell. The reason I'm looking at this is because we're looking at the structure silicon dioxide, which, let's go back here, most rock is silicon dioxide, which is a compound made up of the two elements silicon and oxygen. Oxygen and silicon are the most common elements in stone, so it's silica. Silica is absolutely everywhere. It's all through the human anatomy. Structure. In the majority of silicon dioxides, the silicon atom shows tetrahedral coordination with 4 oxygen atoms surrounding a central Si atom. And I've got this book, the fourth dimension is what this book is. So, and I'm just going to read what the definition of a tetrahedron is in here. It's a figure that is bounded by 4 plane faces. Often the word tetrahedron is understood as meaning the regular tetrahedron, the figure that is bounded by 4 equilateral triangles. And then over here on this page says Platonic solids. The Platonic solids or regular solids are polyhedra that are completely symmetric. Any corner is likely any other one. Likewise, the edges are all alike. The faces are regular polygons that are all alike each other. It was known since ancient times that there are only 5 such bodies. The tetrahedron, 4 triangular faces. The cube, 6 square faces. The octahedron, 8 triangular faces. The dodecahedron, 12 pentagonal faces. And the icosahedron, 20 regular faces. The cube, and I ain't getting into all that other stuff. I'm just simply reading a few things that's not in here. Quartz. This is what's funny. Quartz's boiling point is 2230 degrees Celsius. But then we got to go over here. Right here. Microwaves cook by using electromagnetic waves, which are absorbed into the molecules of water, sugar, and fat in food. This action causes them to vibrate, which creates heat to cook food fairly evenly from the inside out. Learn more about the history of the microwave and how this technology was first invented. Now, we see it right here, bruh. This is my whole point. I'm nowhere near a worldly physicist. I'm nowhere near the worldly educated, but I can give the worldly educated the common sense ingredients and tools that you're going to need to figure out how they've done all this. Like literally melted everything. Like turned on the air like a microwave. And truthfully what we have to do is because, you know, we all know what they've done. But we should know by now, those people that are really smart, that the education that has been given to everybody, it doesn't matter where you are, is the lowest form of education. So the form of conclusion is given to children through the form of ads, billboards, toys, cartoons, and all that, which in return creates false courage, creates false will. The cognition is not there. There's nothing in there. That's why nobody says hi. That's why nobody can do shit without their phone. It's because they're arimonic. That's not about this video. What we're doing is we're trying to look at, okay, this is a 3D unit cell. Okay? And there's a cube. So what we're going to do is of a crystal, a unit cell is the smallest structural unit that exhibits the full structure of a crystal. The crystal structure has two components, a Bravais lattice and the basis atom group that is placed with identical orientation on each lattice point. Three-dimensional pattern. And see, look, in this book, it'll teach you that you got to put things together. A cube can only see 2 dimensions. And see, we are in a cube, in a reality, in a sense, in the crystal. I'm sorry, I'm not like, because chemistry is chemicals. Astral physics is the astral body, which has to do with the zodiac, all those lights, all that stuff, the magnetic field, the plants, the roots, all that has everything to do with us. Everything, and everything is so disconnected they don't even know. Their whole connection from day one, the current and the impulse has been man. And that's why it's so hard for the average person, especially the materialistic Ahrimanic intellect. The intellect is not real. It's not real. All right, there we go. There's unit cell Wikipedia. Mineralogy. I love looking at the world stuff. In geometry, biology, mineralogy, and solid state physics, a unit cell is a repeating unit formed by the vectors spanning the points of a lattice. Despite its suggestive name, the unit cell, unlike a unit vector, for example, does not necessarily have unit size, or even a particular size at all. Rather, the primitive cell is the closest analogy to a unit vector, building block for which larger cells are constructed. The concept is used particularly in describing crystal structure in 2 and 3 dimensions, though it makes sense in all dimensions. A lattice can be characterized by the geometry of its unit cell, which is a section of the tiling. It generates the whole tiling using only whatever. There are 2 special cases of the unit cell, the primitive cell and the conventional cell. The primitive cell is the unit cell corresponding to a single lattice cell, lattice point. Now hang on. That's funny. All that shit right there comes from this. All those designs are in all those lights up there. If you zoom in on it, it's vibrating. Everything you see, the symbols on the front of the churches and the circles with those are all magnetic fields of energy to pull in the field and to create the illusion of everybody. I felt it in there today. No, you felt the magnetic field, and most choirs are facing the east because there's going to be a different tone of the voices. Okay, so what we're doing is what I'm trying to get you to do is to think on the lines of this had to have a mathematical calculation to melt everything. There was math involved. They just didn't fucking put together something. And plus, that technology came from the other side. It's no man's going to create that. But it's a mathematical equation that is very simple that I don't know. But it's the same technology as the microwave. It's the same. It's the exact same. It's the exact same as that right there. Microwaves cook. But see, the average brain, all it knows is microwaves. That's it. In their world, that's it. They've got cartoon brains and everything else, so they don't understand. And if a young intellect, worldly mind is into physics, which is a lie, they're not going to look. They're not going to know anything. And then even when you listen, I've showed physicists and engineers around here, these young ones. I've worked with some of them. They're the rudest, fucking disgusting people ever. They'll sit there and drink sodas and everything and tell you that there's nothing wrong with them. That's how stupid that they are. And it's like, that's our whole point. Your brain has been developed around all that shit to where you'll never go against it. And if you just memorize this, then that means you know it. But you don't. And then the controllers who create your education give you all authority in this world to come at people like me with pieces of paper that you wave at me that says degrees, but I see them as white flags saying I surrender. Because the more you come at me, the more you're showing me that you're fucking losing. That's our demonic nature, is to just lash out on somebody because you don't like what they say, and that's to the haters. But I mean, it should be easy. Some of y'all are real smart. I'm not, but I can find ingredients to put pieces of the puzzle together. But then you've got to get into the magnetic field, and we're on the sun and the moon represents positive and negative. You're on the ground. There was free energy. So whatever they did to do this, they had to have an enclosed. Something was enclosed. Had to have been. For some of this, because it's burnt, just like you would burn something at the bottom. They're in certain places of a microwave. But the way that they're melted, it's not direct. It is turned on. And fucking it's crazy how strong it was constructed, because even after literally melting shit, the whole world, it still stayed intact. But you've got to really think about, because we all know that magnets are real. You could build so many vehicles off of the magnetic field and through magnets, and there would be no wrecks or anything. You could incorporate them into houses. There would be no hangars. We can go on and on and on, but then you wouldn't buy shit. So the same way that the magnetic rays in a microwave, let's see what it says. Let's go to images. There it is. Okay. Whoa, where'd you go? So, see all the little arrows down there? What we're doing is we're looking at a weapon. That's a weapon. See that magnetron? That's actually what's on front of them churches. And it's a power supply. Those churches still are. They still got the antennas, and we strongly feel a lot of them. They'll fire them back up once they shut it down. But see, magnetic, hang on. Electromagnetic waves. They're absorbed in the molecules of water. So, if we're going to set up something floating with magnets, with mirrors, I'm just saying, we're brainstorming, and we're going to set up a cube and we're going to have this technology to where when we turn this motherfucker on, what we have, this technology, is going to penetrate the quartz, the silicon dioxide, and manipulate it the same way from the inside out as the motherfucking electromagnetic waves absorb into the molecules of the water. Something from the inside out. The underneath of shit is fucking insane. Some of the places, it is just drippy. And the whole thing is it's so fresh because the drip should have done been knocked off where it rehardened. You understand what I'm saying? So if we're looking at this microwave and we can send up through our mathematical equation, we can create all that right there on a large scale without a physical cube. Does that make sense? It should. And everything within the field is the oven cavity, but on a very fucking big scale. And they just, where I'm at was probably one of the last places to get hit and covered up. Chattanooga and the surrounding area. It is fucking crazy. And boy, when you go at listen, I can show you how everybody was planted just like a garden anywhere and raised just like a garden. They were watered with newspapers and radio and fake technology. And then those generation were born into the next set of technology. And they had careers based around snacks and sodas that literally destroy the human anatomy. And there's no warning labels on them. So there's your parallel of ignorance. People are just running along with everything. They don't understand black magic. They are black magic. They'll look right at you. And the one looking at you, they're just looking at you with at least 30,000 hours of TV. That's the response you get from the average person. They'll throw that piece of paper in your face and then all that TV and then go have an orgy with the world. While we sit over here, and especially me and others, and give our life to trying to figure out what the fuck they did. And see, I don't have it in me. And you don't either. Doesn't matter how smart you are. You're smart enough for the system that they created. There you go. And then the brains, the valedictorians that are picked every year, they're not for what y'all think. They're to throw in their structures and to use that brain for technology that they're going to use against us. And then that individual has a good life, and then they have a good whatever, and it's a lie. And they'll go on to their grave, and when they go over, they'll be going, I'll listen now, Matt, forever. I'll listen. Think about it. Think about it. Think about being punished through your urges and passions on the other side. You're just given this heaven and hell. Well, they don't tell you that hell's really facing every urge and passion that you have here. Everybody against me. And this is on YouTube, because people around me, it's crazy. I don't post much on Facebook anymore, because lately I've just been blasting away. And they'll show up at my house, and they'll call me and text me and tell me I don't know what I'm doing and all this. And it's like, you're wasting time coming at me. Spend that time on what we're talking about, and you'll have your answer. But this Ahrimanic being that they've created, it's not created, but they've unleashed through the symbols and the technology and through the pills and chemicals and the foods and drinks and everything. It is one badass spirit, buddy. It is one-sided. One-sided. You know, and when we cross over into the realm of spirit, like Scripture says, everything's going to be in reverse too. And if you've never looked at anything in reverse, you're going to have a very hard time facing urges, passions. You won't know where to go. You'll be stuck with all those emotions and fears that they've gave you here. This is to the dummies. That's you. While our stream, it's funny, you have streaming now. There's a stream that you can't see from here to up there. It's connected to your neck. The same way that the spinal cord. It's the same way. And when this physical body is disconnected, you know, you'll figure out that we've got an ether soul, we've got an ether body, astral body, and the physical body, which ceases. And then the soul and the spirit. And then we get to see a whole mural of our existence. That's how cool God is. He makes you look at what you didn't do. And he makes you look at what if you did listen, this is what could have happened. But since y'all didn't listen, look at what's happening. And those people that think they're leaving money and everything behind and it's going to be to the right thing, you get to see who you left your money to. You get to see what they do with it. Y'all on the other side right now around me, because people don't believe in the spirit world, they're watching them do to children and babies what the physical humans can't see. Wouldn't that be punishment? All this sacrificing and everything to see that over and over and over and over and over, and then be bombarded with your urges and passions that you never even worked on, never even tried or anything. Sorry I got off on that tangent. I'm back. Okay, microwave technology. It's real. It should be easy. That's why now I'm going to have to study fake chemistry, fake physics, fake everything, because I studied law, studied the medical, now I'll study this. It's not real. The law is government Saturn. Everything down here is based off of this right here. The whole fucking government is based off of that. That's the 12 constellations. The judge is Saturn. That's the black gown. 12 jurors is 12 constellations. It's not hard. Hospital rooms, schools rooms, everything that has rooms represents cells. This is the body elect, the body of the nation of the world, which represents an anatomy. And the cells, which are all the rooms, are the goy, which is the Ahrimanic nature. Spirits, very controlled from day one. And now, instead of us knowing that we're made of trillions and cells and that what we eat and watch and all that dictates how we're going to be, now Satan, man, whoever it is you want to believe in, has created the world based off of the anatomy. It is fucking badass. You couldn't, it is so cool. The ocean water is electric. So is your blood. It's the same. It's insane. There's not one Olympic-sized swimming pool. Why is it that the school system doesn't have a pool in every school? Why do they not teach children how to swim? This is the freest nation ever. Well, they'd all be in shape. Why isn't there any farms on any schools? Why didn't the schools cultivate fruits and vegetables and then they could feed the families that are poor? Well, then the churches couldn't fucking do it. And then all the housewives that don't fucking work wouldn't go, we're going to get clothes this year for the homeless. Yeah. I ain't saying I'm against you, but you need to really fucking think about what you think you do. You know, it's created for you to be in that position. It's just like this thing's created for me to go through my experience and be in this position. Think about it. Whatever it is they used, it's introduced into it. It's through the electromagnetic waves, these stones and these structures have absorbed into the molecules of the silicon dioxide and oxygen, because see, most rock is silicon dioxide. Silicon and oxygen. Oxygen's everywhere. So the main thing is introducing what into the silica. What would you do? Oh man. Let me see if I can find this definition right quick. Hang on. Because silica represents Sagittarius. And see, I'm Sagittarius. It says Sagitta means arrow, swift, fleet, sharp, and aimed at a mark. This is analogous to the higher mind and its processes. From the root of arrow, the word arrogance is obtained. It relates to exorbitant pride, exalting one's worth or importance to an undue degree. Those who manifest proud contempt of others, who are insolent, overbearing, sharp, and fault-finding in speech represent the negative aspect of Jupiter, because Jupiter and Sagittarius go together. there's something I was wanting to. It was about silica, but this right here, I can't remember in some of these books. I've read so many. But I just want you to really think about something that's going to penetrate. You know, something that's going to penetrate quartz. And that's going to do it. Quartz, silica, what we've been over. And it has to be in that. Because see, even in these books it tells you, even in the finest minute crystals, okay, silica. It has been explained that silica is quartz. Flint, which has been utilized to produce sparks for fires from time immemorial, is a form of it. It constitutes a large part of the Earth's crust. It does not occur free in nature and therefore must be separated by chemical means. In its pure and crystallized form, it is rock, crystal, or quartz. In inorganic chemistry, we find that it stiffens the stems of cereal grains, and it also is found in animal tissues. Cereal means your brain. It occurs often in the form of hexagonal prisms, crowned by six-sided pyramids. As the triangle is the symbol of fire, it will easily be seen how correct Dr. Carey's allocation is. No matter how small the particles of silica are broken up, all take the triangular form, which is, of course, analogous to the arrowhead. It is scientific fact that practically all materials, and some say all, crystallize. When such is the case, the crystals may be easily seen. Quartz crystals are said to be the only ones not visible. Whoever in 1706 asserted that the crystals of each salt had a shape of their own, with the plane angles of faces always the same. Modern scientists state that the angles between corresponding faces of all crystals of the same chemical substance are always the same and are characteristic of the substance. It is obvious then that the chemical element allocating with a certain zodiacal sign naturally associates with it in order to accomplish a certain definite work in the body of the universe, of the man. Nearly all of the mineral salts crystallize under the hexa. They have 6 scalene angles and 48 faces. This is the greatest number of faces possible for any simple form in crystals. Alright, look. Let's just go with that number. Remember, we're brainstorming. Listen, they have 6 scalene angles and 48 faces. This is the greatest number of faces possible for any simple form in crystals. So if it has this form, then what formula? That's not what I was looking at. We're looking at the stone. But I just wanted to look at 3D unit cell because I was just using that. Because that right there is in your anatomy. Okay, the same way that they're slowly destroying our anatomies is the same way that they did what they've done under us, very slowly. But through geometry that you know, and through mathematics that you know, but it's not going to be what you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? You do, in a sense. Tetrahedral coordination. So, what formula is going to be introduced into stone that's going to react the same way that the electromagnetic waves are going to penetrate the water in the middle of the food to cook it from the inside out? And we're not talking about a direct hit on some of these. This is just fucking melting it. And there is something. The ground is the ground. Because there is blatant evidence of shit that you can see how fucking hot the ground was. And different points just melted. Just from the inside out. You know, because once you get in between the bricks, the oxygen, then it's going to open up more from the inside out. And some of it didn't, but this is big. It's a step in the right direction. It's a step in the direction out of ignorance. Love you. Yeah.